I remember George telling me, Nick, you're the only person who could touch this car, no one else. And he's always brought it to me for any little thing. And still today, he's gone. Now Peter, his son, has brought it to me. So I want to make sure I take care of it, the car, Peter, and the family, of course. Welcome to Nick's Garage, and I'm Nick. I've got something special here today. I've got a AAR Cuda that I've known since the mid-70s from my old neighborhood down back of the alley. And right now, the owner of this car is a third generation. Belongs to a guy named Peter. Well, I knew the grandfather, I knew the father, and now I'm getting to know Peter, who owns it right now. 3 generations on this car. They bought it brand new from Touchette Chrysler in Montreal. He bought it brand new there when he was there with his dad, and he bought it. You know, they bought it, his dad bought it, they cruised around with it. I used to go down the boulevard on Hutchinson Street where I used to live, and I seen this car parked on the side. And then one day I kept going back and forth to meet him, and I met him eventually at the end on Hutchinson Street where I used to live. And I go, you got a AAR Cuda? And then that's where George told me I bought the car brand new with my dad. And of course, after all, it's right here today. It was a pleasure to meet George. You know, bless his soul, he's not with us today. And now his son has it now. And he brought it here today so I could do some simple repairs, but it's been in storage for a long, long time. You know, maybe change the fuel, check the carburetors, check if it needs a tune-up, see if the brakes well, you know, because it's been sitting for a while. The next thing we gotta do is maybe repair the exhaust. But since I got it here and I wanted to work on it next week, I want to take it for a little while, just look at it, see what it needs. I've known this car for almost 50 years, and it's very special. It's got still the original paint job on it. It's an automatic 346 barrel, all matching. I'll show you right now. And we did a little restoration over 15 years ago when it used to have headers on it and so forth. So then I had the carburetors rebuilt, a refresh on the engine, painted it orange, removed the headers, put the mantles back on, and a little engine detail in the engine bay. But besides that, it doesn't need much. We want to keep it original as much as possible. I knew Peter's father, George, for many, many, many years. I used to do the service on this car all the time. He would not take it to anybody else. And since he's passed away, you know, the car's been sitting in storage for a while. And now Peter's taking it out. He's asked me to look it over. And of course, his dad did tell him the only place to bring it to is Nick. So here he has it today. I want to look at it, you know, check the brakes, like I said, minor things, and see how it goes. I remember when Peter's father, George, he asked me one day, you know, if we could find a body shop to paint the car. And I told George, you know, I knew him well and he liked cars original. He wanted to paint the car because it had a few dents on it. So I told him, George, you're not gonna paint the car, it's original. So what, it's got a few dents, nothing major, just leave it, keep it like the way it is. And then he goes, Nick, you know your car's better than I do. So you know what, I'm gonna stay with your word, I'll leave it as it is. And here it is today, sitting with its original paint job. And now that Peter has it, I'm gonna tell him the same thing. Just do little minor repairs on it, just to keep it roadworthy, and that's it. After all, they've had it for 3 generations, and they bought this car brand new. It is a special car. You know, it's got a few things I could do some repairs, like the hood pins in the middle of the hood should not be there. But George said, you know what, one day we'll take care of it. So now, you know, I'll deal with Peter on this, we'll take it from there. Yes, it's an automatic car with a white interior. He's had that for forever. Okay, he's had the tires replaced. And you know what, did he drive it hard? I don't think so. But anyways, I'm gonna take it for a nice little cruise. I'm not gonna drive it hard. And we'll take it from there. And I hope George from up in heaven could see us when he's sitting in the passenger seat and seeing how I drive his car. just give it a few minutes to warm it up. It's got a very rare Chrysler tachometer that was bolted to the hood. I guess he did that from the auto parts back then at Chrysler, because this car did not come with a rally dash. To have the tachometer, so what he did is he went to the parts department at Chrysler, he bought a tack to install it on the hood, which you can see right now it's still working. And it's written Chrysler on the tachometer, which is cool. This is a true blue AAR Cuda, let me tell you. We're gonna have to replace the fuel. It's been sitting in the tank for a while, so I'm gonna have to empty it, put some fresh fuel. Want to make sure the gauges work. Make sure it's charging. Yeah, I've worked on this car quite a few times in the past. I haven't seen it for a few years now since George has passed away. And it's nice to see the car come back again. And it's only got 48,000 miles on it. The original miles, 48,000. Has this car ever been raced? I don't think so. Did he have headers? Yes, he did many, many years ago. But, you know, did he have headers? Yeah, I think he did, if I remember closely. Well, last time I did the engine detail, 17, 18 years ago, that's a while. If I remember, he brought me back the exhaust models and then we had them reinstalled. You know, the tack being on the hood, it feels like a GTO. GTO had that design. But I didn't know Chrysler sold a tack that went hood mounted, and it's written Chrysler parts on it. Okay, here we go. I want to make sure the brakes work. This car was towed to my shop yesterday. I want to make sure the brakes work. It's got no power steering. There we go. I gotta make sure those brakes work. Don't forget, it just came out of storage. The only thing I did was check the master cylinder to see if it's filled, so it's all good. So I'm gonna take it to slow drives and I'll be right back. So join me for a ride. And you know, being a AAR Cuda, you cannot forget the hood pins, because AAR Cudas, NT Challengers came with a fiberglass ram air hood. They did not have a hood latch. So for that reason, do not forget the hood pins, because you drive on, that hood's gonna wide open on you right against the windshield. The brake is very sensitive. It's got power brakes. It's got manual steering. So let me just, what I want to do is work in the carburetors a bit, work in the wheel cylinders, the front brake calipers. I want to see the steering is good. You know, I will take a look at it this week, but in the meantime, I just wanted to make a little video with our viewers here, being in an AAR Cuda, the original owner that's gone through 3 generations. Here, I'll open the headlights. I love lights when they're on the car. And that's another thing I gotta look at, make sure everything works. You know, I believe he's been plating it every year. I'm gonna just let me warm it up better. Or should I say, let me warm it up, then I'll just try 1 or 2 kick downs on it. You know, sometimes you might have a six-pack open up on full throttle, and then before you know it, it's stuck wide open. So that's another thing I got to make sure, because you know, you want to make sure that the customer takes the car, that it goes well. We had the battery replaced yesterday because it hasn't been sitting. It's been sitting for a long time, and of course I couldn't charge it, so we had to replace it. So I don't have to keep boosting it every day to move the car. That still goes good. I remember when not bad. Like I said, the last time I worked on it was a few years back, before George passed away. And I remember him telling me, Nick, how does it feel? I said, it runs like a AAR Cuda, a real 340 6-barrel. And it still has, it's not bad, it still has its tune. Here we go. Okay, let me try this. Like I said, I just want to make sure it runs good. I don't want Peter to take it and then have an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to floor it a couple of times. I want to make sure everything's safe. Peter, this is not a joyride. I'm just making sure that in case you drive it, you put it on the floor, that nothing gets stuck wide open, and you know, I want to make sure it's safe. Okay, looks pretty good. Like I said, I'm doing it for safety reasons, nothing else. Put in first gear. Looks good so far. So I'm going to pick it up on the lift next week. Take a look at the brakes. Make sure it's got no major oil leaks. You know, like I said, the car's been sitting for a while. Want to make sure that it's got no rust or anything like that on the drums or anything like that. It was kept in a heated garage for a few years, and check for leaks and all that. But in the meantime, everything seems to be so far so good. But I still have to do a physical check on it. And there you have it. So I just wanted to take it for a ride, just for you viewers to see how it feels to be in a AAR Cuda, all genuine, original, with the original paint job and the original family that's had it since brand new. I'll just kick it one more time, and then after that we'll bring it to the shop. Yeah, I just want to make sure that 6-pack doesn't stay open, or 6-pack or 6-barrel. The 6-barrel is known for, should I say, it's a Plymouth name, and Dodge calls it a 6-pack. But since being a Plymouth Cuda, we're going to call it a 6-barrel. All right, that was a nice ride. Let me just take it back to the shop now, and there we have it. I just want to say a special thank you for you guys for joining me for a ride. Like I said, it just needs a little tune-up on it. It's got a little rough idle, maybe it's going to stall, but besides that, it seems pretty good. So I'm just going to do a physical check next week on it, make sure it's safe, and from what I see, it looks pretty good. So stay tuned for the next drive on this when it's done. So maybe if Peter gives me permission, I'll drive it even harder. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me for a nice ride with a genuine AAR Cuda. And I want to say a special thanks to the family for bringing it back to me. I hope George was with us. See, after it's warmed up, it stalls. But anyways, we're gonna take care of it. It's only minor technicalities. Man, it feels good to drive it again. I've been doing it for a few years. It feels good. Oh well. There you have it. 1970 AAR Cuda. And now I gotta thank the third generation that owns it. And I want to thank you for bringing it back to my shop and take you for a ride. And Peter, if you're watching, thank you very much. And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.